standing there, you could see an arm hang out. I ran up to pull her the rest of the way out and got her to where her torso down was still in there, and there was an explosion.
A neighbor describes the dramatic rescues of people inside a North St. Joseph home that had been just flattened to the ground after a morning explosion.
From KQTV St. Joseph, this is KQ2 News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Alan Van Zandt.
And I'm Amber Smith. Windows rattled throughout a good part of North St. Joseph around 9:30 this morning after a large explosion leveled a home. It happened on Prospect Avenue, where only rubble remains where a house once stood. That's where we find KQ2's Emily Waring now. Emily, investigators have been cleared to enter the home now. Are there any other new developments?
Amber, Alan, as you can see behind me, those investigators are starting to go through that rubble of what's left of this home here on Prospect Avenue. Now, they said that the 3 people that were inside the home are still recovering at the hospital, but this could have ended a lot worse. Loud boom, debris scattered everywhere, and a house leveled to the ground in North St. Joseph. That was a scene police and firefighters found on this 4th of July morning.
Right now, unknown cause of what would have caused this explosion. As you can see, the debris field is pretty wide, and the house is completely collapsed. Police say neighbors pulled 3 people from what was left of the home at Prospect and Pouline in the North End. All of them were taken to the hospital with injuries. I know that initial information came out that there was a possibility of a young child inside the residence at the time. Investigators have looked into that and have confirmed that that child was safely at another residence. Pieces of the home were blasted all around the neighborhood. The ATF had to be called in to help in the investigation.
We're going to assist them with the post-blast. Our explosive experts are all here. We've got several agents that are assisting in both interviews and scene excavation.
A fire battalion chief says an investigator found fuses and some explosive material at the side of the house, some suggesting it's not coincidental that an explosion happened on the 4th of July.
We've talked to several witnesses in the neighborhood that say that for many years they have suspected these individuals of making fireworks in their home. Of course, that's illegal. We talk about it every year this time of year. If that is what it is, this will be yet another reminder of why you don't do it.
Investigators will work to find the official cause of the explosion. Thankful there was no fatalities. Just like to say that we're happy that there was no loss of life, and that the injuries that were sustained seem to be moderate. So we're very thankful for that. And again, Amber and Alan, as you can see, investigators are still going through this rubble at this time, but yet they have not released an official cause for that explosion this morning. And we will keep you up to date on air and online on stjoechannel.com as that comes available to us. Reporting live in North St. Joseph, Emily Waring, KQ2, your local news leader.
Thanks, Emily. The initial explosion created a hectic scene for neighbors living around the home.
But a few of those neighbors ran into the smoke while others were running away. And KQ2's Christina Zagami is live in studio with more on their story. Christina.
That's right, Alan. Amber. As Emily had just mentioned, 3 people were injured from that explosion, but witnesses tell us that one woman likely would not have survived without the help of 3 Samaritans who heard her screams and ran to her rescue.
33 receiving multiple calls of an explosion.
This video, captured by witnesses at the scene, showed just how chaotic this North End St. Joseph neighborhood was on Tuesday morning. But before emergency crews could respond,
we have neighbors that are trying to pull people out of the house.
3 unlikely heroes sprung into action.
We thought it was just a big firework. Then we seen black smoke and could very seldomly hear a slight help.
But what got me the most is got down there and we heard that girl screaming and we couldn't see her.
And you could just hear people scream and get water, get help, call 911. There's people in there.
The 3 let their instincts take control to help rescue a woman from the home that had just been blown to pieces.
I asked the guy that was laying on the ground if anybody was else in the house, and all he said was my wife. So my instincts, try to find a way.
And everybody else was like, it's too late. And me and him was like, no, it ain't,
The Good Samaritans say more explosions continued even after the house was down, but they weren't leaving that woman behind.
And there was an explosion, so I ran back looking for my safety, then ran back in and grabbed a guy to drag him back in to help too.
Lifted that roof up, and right there she was, man. I mean, she was engulfed in flames around her.
It was scary. It scared me.
Tony Calhoun suffered first-degree burns from the heat. He says it was a small price to pay to save a life.
And it was a matter of probably 30, 40 seconds after we got her out. It was totally engulfed. She probably wouldn't have made it.
And if we wouldn't have got her out there, she would have burned up, because I mean, everything around her was on fire. I mean, she was screaming top of her lungs.
Neighbors now call them heroes, but these 3 men say they were just doing their civic duty.
You have to make that split second if you want to get involved, or stand and watch. And I'm not a person to stand and watch somebody burn to death.
I just couldn't see her burning up. That was my main thing, is get her out of there.
All 3 of those men credit adrenaline rushes for their heroism. Police say the woman they rescued is now being treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Reporting in studio, Christina Zagami, KQ2, your local news leader.
All right, thank you, Christina. Well, problems for firefighters in Blue Springs who also had to deal with a similar situation over the weekend. They say fireworks are likely to blame for a house fire that left a family without a home there. Inspectors say neighbors reported someone near the home using fireworks. Family was not at home when it caught fire, but firefighters say it's an important reminder of how quickly the irresponsibility of usage of fireworks can cause and turn tragic.
People spend a lot of money and they want to have a good time, and they have their families come over, and then something like this happens and it just really kind of takes away from everything. And they weren't even the ones shooting them off, so it was a neighbor that caused the problem.
Fortunately, firefighters say they were able to salvage some of the family's personal belongings, but the home is a total loss.
With many people traveling over the holidays, vehicle safety is also on the minds of first responders this 4th of July. Kansas City firefighters were called to rescue a driver caught by flash flooding near Interstate 70. It happened around 8:30 a.m. after high waters caused a semi-accident that stranded the driver. The highway's westbound lanes were closed for a short time. Crews say no one was seriously injured in that crash. There were a few sprinkles on and off today, but people were still able to find a little bit of time to get outside this 4th of July.
And we're hoping those raindrops hold off for lots of evening fireworks celebrations. Ryan Rose, that's your responsibility there.
That definitely is. I'll definitely say so. In fact, yeah, we will be dry, I do think, for this evening. So good news if you want to spend some time outside this evening, taking a live look outside. We do have just the clouds. And I do think we will be dry, as I mentioned. Right now we're at 81 degrees. Our wind is calm. Dew point right now is at 67 degrees. And temperatures across the area, we're in the low 80s. 88, though, up in Maryville, a little bit on the warmer side there. And a little bit humid today as well with those dew points up there. But we do have a warm-up on the way as high pressure enters the area. I'll have those details. I'll talk about it coming up in just a few minutes. Alan, Amber?
All right, thanks, Ryan. On this Independence Day, millions are observing America's 241st birthday with the traditional parades, fireworks, and even that hot dog eating contest.
ABC's Elizabeth Herr has a look at how people are celebrating across the country.
The 4th festivities kicking off in Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
It's always different every year, and it's so colorful.
Hosting the nation's first Independence Day parade right at midnight for 42 years and counting.
Welcome everybody to Cleveland on the lake.
At daybreak in Cleveland and from coast to coast, the birthday party for America picking up steam with more festivities and food, even in outer space. Astronaut Peggy Whitson sharing this cool video, tweeting, "Happy birthday, USA."
3, 2, 1, and time is up!
And while you might not be too familiar with this annual burger eating contest in Washington, D.C., surely you've heard of this hot dog eating contest on New York's Coney Island.
101st running of the Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Contest,
where the returning champ Joey Jaws Chestnut set a new record by downing 72 hot dogs. And in the women's competition, Nikki Sudo came out on top with 41 hot dogs in 10 minutes. The day of celebrations capping off with what else but fireworks. New York City expected to attract more than 1 million spectators at this year's Macy's 4th of July Spectacular.
With so many people out and about, police from New York to Los Angeles say they're prepared to ensure everyone enjoys a safe holiday. After flooding last week from severe storms, it was unclear whether Mozingo Lake would be able to hold its yearly 4th of July celebrations. But good news, the city says water receded just in time for the big day. Hundreds came for the festivities, including a human foosball game, live music, and plenty of barbecue. The entire park, lake, and golf course are open to anybody wanting to enjoy the holiday by the water.
No, the water's receded late day Friday, early morning Saturday, so we were able to just kind of do some general maintenance and cleanup, and the point looks great for the 4th.
A great way to spend the 4th in a beautiful setting, and really grateful for the city for putting this on.
The celebration ends with a fireworks show tonight after dark.
Closer to home, the city of Cameron is holding its festivities all day to thank our armed forces, past and present. Community members gathered at Veterans Memorial Park in Cameron to pay tribute on Independence Day. The dedication ceremony featured patriotic music provided by the Cameron Municipal Band.
Veterans don't do a lot of things for recognition. That's not what it's about. It's about a sense of camaraderie and sense of duty and obligation, and for them to be stood out and recognized. Most of them would say it's quite humbling, and they're very appreciative of it.
Other events in Cameron today included a 4-mile run, a Prince and Princess contest, a parade, and of course tonight, fireworks get underway at 10 p.m. Kids in the foster care system in Missouri now have a new Bill of Rights. More on recently signed legislation that emphasizes the importance of putting kids first.
Plus, we have more live coverage from the scene of a blast that leveled a home in North St. Joe this morning. The latest information from investigators about the 4th of July explosion when we return.
Plus, we saw the rain earlier today, but high pressure is making a return. I'll talk about that coming up in just a bit.
You're watching KQ2 News at 6.
Welcome back. News again on our top story of the night. A North St. Joseph home reduced to rubble earlier today after an explosion.
The blast happened on Prospect Avenue and sent 3 people to the hospital. Illegal fireworks are being suspected as a possible cause. Let's check in again with KQ2's Emily Waring. She's live at the scene and has been following the investigation all day. Emily?
That's right, Amber and Alan. Again, as we said, crews are still here on scene digging through that rubble, and fire officials said earlier that they did find some explosive material while they were going through that debris. Now here is a live satellite image from the Google from where the blast happened near the intersection of Prospect and Pouline. A St. Joseph Fire Battalion chief says the investigators found fuses and some explosive material at the side of the house. The fire chief told reporters people inside the home admitted they were making smoke bombs, but that is not the official cause as of now. Police and ATF are conducting this investigation of the explosion.
It's going to take some time for them to, I would say it'll take some time to conduct this investigation. Just simply, as you can see, the debris field is going to take a lot of time to go through.
And again, police have been here on scene going through this rubble since roughly around 4:30 this afternoon, when they were the first time they were able to get inside the rubble. And again, the official cause has not been released at this time, but we will keep you updated on air and online as that becomes available. Reporting live in North St. Joseph, Emily Waring, KQ2, your local news leader.
All right, thank you, Emily. Recently passed legislation in the Show Me State aims to fight for children in the foster care system.
Governor Greitens signed the Foster Care Bill of Rights into law in late June. The bill is the result of a push by Kansas City child welfare worker and teens that are currently in the foster care system. The legislation emphasizes that the best interest of the children should be the top priority for the state's Children's Division.
Many of the things that are reflected in that law are in policy for the Children's Division. It was just making sure that across the board, no matter who your worker was, no matter what city or county you were in, that the same rights were being had for every kid.
We will have more on this legislation tonight on KQ2 News at 10. Taking a live look outside of St. Joe this 4th of July, it looks pretty nice right now. Brian will have a look at what to expect for tonight's fireworks shows after the break.
Clouds have kept our temperatures down today. There is your almanac, a high of only 81. KQ2 News at 6 will be right back.
The St. Joe Parks Department has a big 4th of July fireworks show planned for later tonight at Riverfront Park.
Festivities start shortly after dark, but if rain would happen to fall, they'll shift the events to tomorrow night. But Ryan Rose says rain pretty much out of our forecast, it sounds like. What do you say, Ryan?
I would definitely say that is the case, Alan. In fact, I do think we will remain dry for this evening. Good news if you're heading out to see those fireworks. 81 our high today, 67 our low. Normal high is 86, normal low 67. Record high 106 back in 1936, record low 51 back in 1924. Taking a live look at our Tri-State Ford camera up in Maryville, we have seen the sun this afternoon, just a few clouds. These clouds will be on their way out through this evening and into the overnight hours. Right now in St. Joseph, we're at our high, 81 degrees. Our dew point's at 67, 62% humidity, and our wind is calm at the moment as well. Temperatures generally in the low 80s. Maryville has managed to make it up to 88 thanks to a little bit of extra sunshine further up north. So a little bit on the warmer side there, and of course a little cooler for us due to that cloud cover. In fact, here you can see it. Now I do think we will remain dry. These clouds will be on their way out as well. We just may be dealing with mostly cloudy to partly cloudy skies as this system continues to push off to the east and clearing just off to our west, and that's associated with high pressure. So if you have any plans tonight going to see those fireworks or any other festivities, again, we will be dealing with clearing skies, mostly cloudy to partly cloudy, temperatures dropping nicely into the 70s. But again, I do think we'll remain dry. So good news for those of you that are heading outdoors as we take things hour by hour. As we head into tonight, again, we may see a pop-up shower extreme northern Missouri. Other than that, though, again, I don't think we'll see much in the way of any rain at all. So we head into tomorrow, we may catch a pop-up shower. Chances are pretty slim of that happening, and I do think if it does happen, it'll happen to our south and to our east as well before this whole system slides off to our east, and that means a lot of sunshine is expected as we head towards our Thursday. However, our temperatures will be on the rise, though. High pressure will be in control. Now on Thursday, heat index value is up to 100 degrees. It will be getting hot. It will be getting humid, and high pressure will get even closer to us as we head towards next week. We are going to have several days in the 80s, but as we head towards next week, heat index once again could reach 100 degrees or higher for us. So it's going to be getting pretty hot and humid. Tonight, 66 with those mostly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, 86, partly cloudy. Again, we may see a pop-up shower, but I really think chances for that are pretty slim. 90s on Thursday, and it will be getting humid for us, so something to keep in mind. We do drop back in the 80s, and then next week, as that high pressure gets closer, we may be pushing 90 again, but we do remain dry for the next 7 days, and tonight, thank goodness, I think we skipped out on all that rain for tonight.
Hopefully people get to see those fireworks then.
Yes, exactly.
All right, thanks, Ryan. Chris joins us with sports. Hard to keep track of the Royals. They played late last night.
Yep.
They're playing earlier today.
Quick turnaround.
Just keep winning.
But it's a good day for the Royals. Danny Duffy back with the team. The Royals already underway over in Seattle, and Danny Duffy's making his return tonight. And July 4th, holding a special meeting for Mustangs pitcher Steve D'Amico. We'll tell you why coming up next.
You're watching KQ2 News at 6. Now, KQ2 Sports with Chris Roush.
Well, tonight, another Mink League North Division showdown over at Phil Walsh Stadium for the St. Joseph Mustangs, and tonight, it's the Sedalia Bombers coming into town. With the Mustangs win last night, they pushed Chillicothe to 6 games behind the squad in the North Division race, which catapulted the Bombers into second place, but still sitting 5.5 games back of the Mustangs in the standings. And Mustangs manager Matt Johnson says this team sitting at 23-8 is showing its consistency.
You go in hot streaks or you go in cold streaks, and really this group has really, played consistent the entire time that we've had. I think we're 31 games in, and defensively we've stayed solid. Pitching has thrown strikes, and offensively we've torn the cover off the ball quite a few games, but then we've had timely hitting. So it's just really probably one of the most diverse groups of players that I've had.
Mustangs take on Sedalia tonight with first pitch in about a half hour at 7 o'clock. And not only is tonight's game important in league standings, tonight's game means a little bit more to Mustangs pitcher Steve D'Amico. KQ2's Jesse McWilliam has more.
Baseball has always been pitcher Steve D'Amico's passion. It burns when he steps onto the mound. But his path to college baseball and the Mustangs was not as smooth as you'd think.
I was kind of at a standstill in my life.
After high school, he was in a rut, unable to get out until he and his father visited a Navy recruiting office.
My dad kind of took me to a recruiting office, told him I wasn't going to join, and he said, "That's fine, I just want you to talk to him." And within about 5 minutes talking to him, I kind of figured out that it was the best choice for me.
And so the decision was made. D'Amico spent the next 5.5 years stationed at places like Hawaii, Australia, Dubai, and many more.
I kind of got to see it all, and I think it's an experience that, I mean, nobody here I know that has never been over to those places.
The ability to, be in the military right out of high school and spend those 5 quality years. I mean, my hat's off to anybody that can do that and protect our country. But
D'Amico uses the skills from the military that he learned to better the team, and is quietly one of the leaders on this Mustangs team.
He's constantly helping our guys get better on and off the field. But you can just see that in his 5 years of military service has allowed him to handle those things.
The military gave me all of the right tools in order to deal with that in the best way possible.
For D'Amico, the 4th of July holds a special place in his heart.
It's a big deal in the military, kind of 4th of July, kind of remembering all those who passed, who made this country what it is today, and kind of knowing that I was a part of that, it does kind of hit a little deep to me.
And he sums up his experience from the Navy in one word.
Humbling, I think, when I look back and think of all the things that I've done, and just really enjoy where I'm at now.
Wishing everyone a safe and happy 4th of July, Jesse McWilliam, KQ2 Sports.
And also happy Danny Duffy Day for the Royals. Lefty making his return from the disabled list tonight. He's received some early inning help. Whit Merrifield led off the game with a solo home run. Right now the Mariners put 2 on the board in the first inning. We're in the bottom of the 3rd. Mariners now up 2-1 on Kansas City. Can't forget about the Cardinals today either. Marlins topping St. Louis 5-2 this afternoon. Christian Yelich hit a 3-run shot, which proved to be the difference in the game. Lance Lynn takes the loss. He's now 6-6 with a 3.87 ERA. Let's look at sports. We'll be right back.
Seems a little drier than we were expecting for this 4th of July, and I bet no complaints about that.
Right. In fact, I think we're going to keep that trend for this evening. So definitely those that are heading out for tonight, we can expect mostly cloudy skies. I do think we will remain dry. So go for it and head outside for any festivities. Go see the fireworks. 66 degrees, our overnight low temperature. Tomorrow, 86 degrees. So we are going to be a little bit warmer with partly cloudy skies. We may see a pop-up shower tomorrow afternoon, but chances are pretty low for that. So we do hit the 90s, though, as we head towards Thursday. And then heat index values will be nearing 100 degrees. We'll be back in the 80s, but dry for the next 7 days.
All right. Well, enjoy the 4th this evening. Do so safely. And we hope to see you back here again at 10. Have a good night.